Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Mental Health Podcast. Today we're joined by Phil Evans from Red Rum Nutrition, who's going to run us through his ups and downs, highs and lows, and his story. So, hello Phil, how are we doing?
How you doing? Yeah, all good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Good. That's what we'd like to hear. Excellent. Can we just talk a little bit about your backstory, what sort of makes you tick and everything like that, sort of, if you know.
Yeah, I can't remember, yeah. I think it's mainly, as far as starting the brand and stuff like that goes, that was brought on by me not seeing stuff that I wanted to see on the market. There was a lot of stuff on the supplement market and things like that, but not quality over. It was more sort of like, look at the label, it's shiny, like that sort of stuff. So they were there was a lot of poor products, and I don't like the whole idea of conning people and things like that. So that's what led up to starting Red Rum Nutrition. Just pushing a premium product at a decent price by an independent company, not, these big million pound companies that can spend loads on advertising. So just the honest stuff. Backstory wise, completely normal, East London family, sort of not mental health wise, but like stuff that caused me to lead up to things that I did was I was pretty much bullied in school from the age of 4.
Yeah, I was brilliant.
Up to about sort of 10, 11. Went to secondary school. That was okay. But the area I was in, it was very much, you was affiliated with certain groups and stuff like that. So, because
Where area was that?
It was in Ganshill.
Okay, Ganshill.
So ended up getting stabbed in 5th year, which is, what's that year?
10?
Yeah, something like that.
Year 10, yeah.
Yeah, ended up with that. That brought on.
Was this stabbed in school?
I got stabbed in the classroom. Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. As you do.
It's not something you hear that often.
No, it's not long. It's like, yeah. And then that sort of...
So how long ago was that? Sorry.
I was 15. So I'm 46 now.
So knife crime still...
Around those sort of areas, yeah. I grew up in Ilford and I used to hang about in sort of Forest Gate, Stratford, Maryland. So there was still a lot of gang crime. It just wasn't advertised as much now. Yeah. But it was more... I wouldn't say crime was regulated, but criminals had a little bit more of a sort of rule book that everything used to go by. So it wasn't just random acts of violence because you want to... I mean, you still had robberies and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
It was gang violence between themselves.
Yeah, you'd still get random stuff. Like if you was walking down, I don't know, Ilford High Street or something, you had a pair of trainers, you're getting and take... You're going home in those shirts. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, that sort of...
So you're stabbing, was that because you was involved in the gangs, or was it because you was a misidentity?
That was a mate of mine, basically.
Time sort of thing.
It weren't even that. But if it was something like that, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. But no, if a friend of mine at school had hit someone else's older brother who was supposed to be, this whatever,
boy, yeah,
like at some college and all that, and I said, well, the guy is he's a mouthy sort of whatever, probably deserved it. And then I was just sitting in the classroom chilling one lunchtime, and I had two kids come in, one in front of me, one behind me, and we had old typewriters then. And they had big plugs, like the actual points on were probably about that big. So one in front of me tried to hit me, moved. I just sort of switched on to just walk out the class, just get out, because
better than getting involved.
Yeah, ended up getting he went for my head, I moved, and he ended up sort of stabbing me in the back and all that with it. So yeah, that was grim. That ended up pretty much ruining
better days at school, to be fair.
Yeah, pretty much. But that sort of done the rest of my school life. I didn't want to be in school at all. I'd bunk off. I remember I'd get dropped off at school if my dad was going that way to a job, and I'd literally go under a subway, get on the bus and go straight to Wanstead and go to my nan's. So I'd just pretend I was at school. That sort of shaped how I then become when I left school. Got involved in lots of odds and sods. Looking back now, it's probably quite a violent, horrible little toe rag. Not for wrong reasons, but because you think you're so angry and pent up from that. Just turned into a little toe rag for a little while. Never horrible, but just if something happened, it would be
red
pretty much. But because of that.
So did you then sort of find the gym? Or was he always training before that? Or
I've done a little bit of training in school, but nothing major. went on to other stuff, played in a couple of bands and things like that. Then a couple of jobs in and out of agency work and all stuff like that back then. Then ended up on the door. Started training previous to that sort of thing. I started training when I was probably about 17.
Was this on the doors like round sort of going to Tilbury area?
No, I used to work in Mile End, Ilford. Okay. There was a place in Ilford called Blah Blah's. That was really notorious. It wasn't a very nice place.
Quite a bit back there, as I was thought.
You'd probably have nine to 12 kickoffs a night. You'd have people pulling up outside with samurai swords, firearms, stuff like that. So it wasn't very nice. And I've never been.
You chose to do that?
I needed money. Yeah, I needed money. So it was a case of...
Did you get into that point, were you wanting to be violent at that point and going, I'm going to put myself in positions where I can defend myself?
No, I never
sort
wanted to be... Yeah, I wasn't interested in that. I never wanted to be, like you hear a lot of people now, oh yeah, I was involved in this.
I was on the doors and I
Yeah,
did this.
No, it's not that. I needed money. We were skint at the time. And I had to do what I had to do. Yeah, so that was all it was. It was to put food on the table and stuff like that. I wasn't interested in all that sort of gangster nonsense and trying to get a reputation and all that. I wasn't ever about that sort of stuff. That then, obviously still training. The doors led on to quite a few other bits and pieces where you're hired privately. Even done a government job, which was quite interesting. Never knew the government hired doormen back then, but we had to go to, trying to think where it was. I think it was Leeds. They was paying certain people that had come home and been housed and stuff like that, but they was paying them with cash. So me and my business partner at the time were hired to go there and basically look after these sort of government people that were paying in cash, benefits in cash, if you like, to certain families. That then obviously leads on to other bits and pieces. Just that it was literally, it just stems. It's so easy for things just to stem into other stuff. Never into the whole, criminal thing and gangland stuff. It just never interested me. All I wanted to do was earn money, mind my own business, and that was it. That then led on to working with a family member, which I won't mention his name. That was good for a while. It was a lot of money, and it was quite a positive move. To be fair,
security was it? Or?
I was sort of his security.
Okay,
but we was doing other bits and pieces. But it wasn't this way. It was more Manchester based, Birmingham based, stuff like that. That then led me to get. Well, we were supposed to be doing a business deal. It was all above board. There was nothing strange, nothing like that. That ended up with me getting kidnapped in Birmingham, stuck in an office in a garden, which was literally in a field. It was a house in the middle of nowhere.
Sounds all above board, doesn't it?
Right, the guy had loads of money. He was a normal businessman and all that sort of stuff.
Slightly unhinged.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'd just gone there to sort out some finances and things like that. No big deal. Nothing, nothing weird.
You thought?
I thought, yeah, and he was like, oh, well, we're not going to pay you, blah, blah. I was like, okay, it's not my money, that's fine. Cool, take me back to the station. Yeah, I'm not interested. I've looked round and there's probably, and this isn't exaggerating, probably 30-odd massive guys that are about to come into the office and
explain to you why you're not going.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was pretty scary. Not something that it probably still bothers me now. It doesn't make me paranoid, but because of certain situations like that, I think very carefully first before I put myself in harm's way, sort of thing. That
once bitten, twice shy.
Big time. Managed to get out of there. Luckily, talking, to be fair, I actually talked my way out of it. That got me out of that. But other factions from that were still gunning for me. So that then led on to a lot of backwards and forwards from my end and up north, and that got quite out of hand.
Yeah.
That was then dealt with, finished with, led me back to being skint again.
Always happens, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, money, that's the one thing I have learned, I think, getting older, money comes and money goes. You can be, 1 minute you think you've got literally everything, and I did have everything. I had.
And you could have the world on a string. And
I had flash cars. I remember driving around in Lambos. I was 10 grand cash a week like it was nothing. I was buying watches, luggage sets, and all that sort of stuff, and then ended up selling them. To pay my mortgage and put food on the table and stuff like that. Then I actually become a tattooist. I was a tattooist from probably 2005, 2006. And I only actually stopped tattooing a couple of years back. I retired from it because it started destroying my eyesight. And my back and stuff was getting really out of hand. But yeah, it's been a weird sort of route up to this point. Now that I'm at a pretty positive place, apart from obviously, like as I said to you guys, my mum had a stroke last Saturday, and I've only got my mum left now. My dad had really bad Alzheimer's, like really.
That's hard to deal with. My nan had that as well. I told you that.
Yeah, that was. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That was, to be fair, that was probably one of the hardest things I've had to deal with. Finding out that he was hitting me mum. What else?
And it's not even the fact that he's doing it because he's that person.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's the awful stuff that it causes people to do.
Yeah.
And maybe and the fact that it's usually out of character.
Oh, massively. Yeah, massively. I mean, I wasn't super close with my dad at all. His family, they was all probably not very nice people in East London. They had a lot of dealings with other stuff and stuff like that, but he never really got involved. As they all got older, they branched off and away from that. But yeah, my dad wasn't like that. He was a bit of a bully. I will say that he was a bit of a bully, but definitely nothing like that. But yeah, like finding out he's hitting your mum, tried to set light to the house, having to manhandle your dad who ends up pretty frail and stuff like that to stop him doing things.
As a guy as well, when that's your dad, he's supposed to be your male figure, and you're having to stop it. That's got to take that mental toll on you.
Massively. I remember one night, I always used to get a phone call from my mum near enough every day. I'd have to fly around there and sort something out, trying to stop him doing something. He was actually in the next door neighbour's front garden, about to put his walking stick all through their patio and stuff like that. So yeah, dragging him away from that, it's not nice because it's like someone completely different.
Yeah.
I remember getting phone calls from a hospital one evening from the police where they had to clear a ward out because he tried to stab a doctor with a pair of scissors. I was like, where did he get the scissors from? It took him off the doctor. But a lot of that as well, he couldn't have morphine.
Okay.
And it was on his file. And they hadn't read his file.
And
so they gave him morphine, and it was, it just sent him completely over the edge. So dealing with that, because he wouldn't even speak to my mum, he wouldn't recognise my mum, that took its toll on me, because that still does worry me to this day.
Yeah.
Because it can be, obviously, hereditary. His mum had it, he had it. So it is.
So you've got it in the back of your mind the whole time.
Yeah, massively, because you can get a test that says you're gonna, yeah or no. I haven't had the test only because I know then that will be playing on my mind all the time.
So it's kind of ignorance is bliss.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah, big time.
Because I know they can also have, like, you can think like people talking to you through the TV and and this sort of stuff. Yeah. And I had a friend of mine, a close friend, whose dad was thinking that the TV was talking to him, but he was working for the TV company. And then he was getting humped because he hadn't been paid his wages. Yeah. And he'd gone outside and he walked up to the bus stop and he said, I'm meeting the guy, he's going to pay me my wages. And it's, he had to drag him home and get the police out. And it's hard. And it's like, to see your dad go from that to that is really hard.
They get super paranoid as well. I think everyone's trying to steal from them. Everyone's out to hurt, get them, stuff like that. So dealing with that was really hard. And we had no help. That's one thing I will say. You see a lot of adverts on TV and stuff like that where, you can get help. Nah, no way. They did not want to help at all, not one bit.
Unless you pay.
Until he tried to attack one of them.
Yeah.
Then it was like, okay, he is that bad. Yeah, he is.
And we've told you this for a long time.
We've told you for ages and you don't want to know. So yeah, after that we eventually got him into a home.
And that's hard as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that is hard, yeah.
Behind,
And-
you know.
Because more often than not, I don't want to sound morbid, but it's that kind of, when they go in, they're not coming
100%,
out.
100%. And I still remember him to this day saying to me, if I ever go because I didn't really know his mum. I was never close with that. So I still remember him saying to me, if I ever get like that, shoot me.
Yeah.
So there is that part in my mind at that time, well, do I?
Yeah.
As cold as it is, do I
put him out of his misery?
Yeah, do I just put one in his nut? Because that is what he wanted. And I know if he could come out of himself and look at what he'd become,
He'd be begging.
mate, he'd iron himself up straight away. There's no way on earth you'd want to live like that.
No, it's two different people, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
And I suppose then that kind of, that triggers your mental health too, because you're thinking about, well, you're going to lose your dad.
Yeah.
Well, not going to, because you've lost your dad.
Yeah, they're gone.
Mentally.
Yeah.
But then physically, a lot of people have said to me that have had relatives that have had Alzheimer's and died, that you effectively have two grieving processes.
Yes.
You lose them twice because you lose them and then they die.
Yeah, big time.
And I think that has got to take a massive toll on your mental health from the first loss to the second, because it's a time thing, and
Massively,
you just kind of...
Yeah, massively. You're talking to someone who's been around all your life and they don't even know you now. That's weird. That's really strange, because you've just known that person and all of a sudden it's literally like someone switches a switch and they're looking at you like they've never met you before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've got to try and help them and make sure they take meds and things like that, and then deal with the case of, because it was only me around to deal with it, I've had to deal with all of that. So it was a case of, right, I've got to deal with my dad because my mum used to get upset all the time, so I'd try and deal with it. I'd have to be the strong one.
But then you've got to look after your mum as well.
Right, exactly. And then we had it all with my nan as well, with dementia. So I've always had to be that figure. I could never let things get on top of me, because I had to put that sort of... Someone said to me ages ago, you wear a lot of masks.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as much of masks. I think you just start to play roles that you have to
You become
play.
an actor.
Yeah, you do.
Do you know what? I heard... I know this is going to sound weird. On Only Fools and Horses,
Yep.
there's a scene, we probably all know it, because...
I'm known for his mad.
Yeah. So when Grandad dies,
Yeah.
Del Boy's taking it hard, and Rodney goes, how do you get over it? And he says, get over it, I haven't even started. I'm like Zebedee, I'm buying people drinks, and I've been that person for so long now, I don't know how to be anything else.
Yeah. Great stuff.
And yeah, it's clever writing, it's bloody clever writing. But as blokes, like when I used to watch it when I was 17, 18, 19, I'm like, well, it's just quite sad. Like, I've lost grandparents, and it breaks you. But then now, as a fully grown man that has gone through his own shit, you go, fucking hell, that is bang on, because we've all, like, I think to an extent, all men have this bravado of, well, I'm all right.
Of course.
I've got to be all right. I've got a family.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've got to be it.
Without a doubt.
And I was taught, like, we brought up big boys don't cry and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, like, you wear those masks, don't you? Well, not masks, you play characters.
You play your part. You play the part you have to play.
And my missus always said to me, she goes, at the end of the day, you come across, you're so tired. And I was like, he's knackering playing someone else. Like, and I shared a story on the video on the It's Okay campaign only yesterday, and it was, I want to be around people because I want to be around them for so long, because I don't want to have to be on my own.
Yeah.
Because then you're alone with your own thoughts, with your own mind.
Oh yeah,
and it's
if you're that sort of person
thing.
that can seriously come on top, I don't mind my own company, because I've got it to a point now where I can sort of not switch stuff off. I've been a bit upset this week, to be fair. I broke down a couple of times because of my mum, but a lot of that again is because I know it's on me.
But you can compartmentalise it.
Yeah, I've
that bit.
got to a point where I have to do X, Y, Z. And that's what I have to do. It's not a case of I don't have time to be upset, but I don't have time to be upset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I have to be a positive person.
I've got to do X, Y, and Z before
Absolutely.
I'm upset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the hard bit. And I think nowadays as well with blokes, it is a thing. I'm glad people are now feeling more confident. They go, mate, you're all right. Like, are you really all right?
Yeah.
It's like asking it twice.
Like, don't chat rubbish. Like, yeah, I'm all right. No, are you actually all right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't matter how petty it is. What's happening? What's happening in your head? Are you okay?
What can I do?
Or not? Yeah, what can I do? Do you want to go? You know, do you want to do something? Just want to sit down and have a laugh?
Yeah. Or do you want me to
like
just
that?
sit with you?
Right, and just be there.
Like that's the thing. I think a lot of people think, well, talk to me. You need to open up. You need to. Sometimes, like, you just want someone that, like, Mirrorless is like, she'll just sit there, like,
Oh yeah.
I'm content when my wife is sat there. Like, we don't have to
No, you ain't
open
got
up,
to
and I
chat
don't
all
have
the
to
time.
vent. Just knowing that if I do want to vent or I do want to
can.
talk, she's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I think sometimes guys need to know that there is just someone there. Like, you're not alone.
No, big time.
But you don't have to talk.
No.
Like, you don't have to. Doesn't have to be this therapy session
No,
every
you
time
ain't
you
got to
round
sit
your
there
house.
and, you know, hold your mate's hand and it's going to be all right and all that, because not everyone's into that sort of stuff.
And actually, sometimes it's not going to be all right.
No,
Like,
it's not.
There's some things that
Yeah, it just ain't all right.
it's not going to be all right, and sugarcoating it.
No,
And
you've got to deal with
and
it.
I know it might come across as it goes against everything that we kind of profess of it's okay not to be okay. Some things are going to be shit.
Yeah.
Some things are going to be fucking awful.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you protect too much, people can't deal with the crap. But to be able to know someone's there, and I know there's people go, I've got no one.
Yeah.
But you have.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
always, like, my campaign is there. To the best of my ability, if you message and go, I'm struggling, I will do what I can. I can pass you on to someone. I can talk to you, whatever. It's that there's someone there.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's what we need, especially
Yeah,
as blokes, because we don't like going,
No.
actually, because more often than not, we're too proud to go, oh, yeah, I am
big
struggling.
time.
I ain't got much money. I am struggling financially. I am struggling this.
That's
that, and the
right,
other.
because everyone wants to put across, you know, I'm smashing it, I'm all right, I'm doing this, that, and the other. When you know full well, you're like, mate, you ain't, you're not.
Yeah.
But I do think now that, like what you said about the it's okay not to be okay, I think it's got to a point as well now, which is a shame. People are using that as not clout chasing, but it's almost like they want to dwell on something so minor to try and jump on a mental health bandwagon, which I think is disgusting. And you do find that.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I think if you've got issues, like I've lost a lot of people to suicide when I was younger, a hell of a lot. Because, you know, that was a serious, you know, what they was going through, obviously to kill yourself is extreme.
And then no one spoke back then either, did they?
No,
No
not
one
at all.
opened up about
No.
nothing. It was taboo to speak
I
about.
remember one of my mates, he was he 19? Bit of a, you know, bit stupid when he was younger and all that. He got banged up only for a little while. He come out because he knew his girlfriend was pregnant and all that, so he was really looking forward to being a dad. She went and had an abortion and didn't tell him. He went and hired a hotel room and hung himself. Purely because of that. That is an issue. Right? Another guy I know, he hung himself on his 21st birthday and left him for his mother to find him. A mate of mine's son, they hung themselves at 11. That is serious issues.
Yeah.
And I think what you're getting now is a lot of people, really minor stuff, want to jump on this mental health things to almost get noticed on social media, which I think is disgusting. Because what that's doing, that's taking a lot of light away from the people that really do need help, who are suffering, who have genuine mental health issues. And it's almost becoming a trend.
Yeah.
It's trendy to have anxiety. I don't get that. It's horrible to have anxiety.
Yeah, it's horrible.
If you suffer from that, it's terrible.
Yeah, like there's and the thing is, I've spoken to, obviously, with the campaign, I speak to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there is a difference between feeling anxious and having anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, where
you're worried about something.
like,
yeah.
if I'm worried about something, like, I don't know, if I'm about to go for a job interview,
Right.
like, I get anxious. I worry that, will they like me?
Right.
I'll go for 3 or 4 nervous wheeze. Like,
Right, absolutely.
and then I start thinking, well, because I've only had a little bit of a wee.
Well, I want to go when I get there.
Well,
yeah.
yeah. That's just being anxious. Like,
right.
and it's a normal thing. But
Yeah.
having anxiety when you're in crippling pain,
Right.
that you can't even walk out the door because you're scared.
You start having attacks about it and stuff like
That's
that.
what I was about to say.
That
It's
is a
not just
different thing.
anxiety. It's the
You
panic
can't
attacks.
breathe.
Right.
You can't, like, you physically can't move.
Yeah, massively.
To the point where you can't get out of bed.
Right.
And it's like you say, it becomes people read up like symptoms online and go, oh, well, I'm this.
Absolutely.
It's at the moment like ADHD is a very,
Right.
it's a trend. And yeah, a lot of people are getting diagnosed, and it's not because everyone's got it. It's because it's becoming not easier, because it's still difficult, but it is getting slightly easier, and there are more avenues to go down.
Yeah.
And there are more therapists and psychologists that can help you.
That's right.
But people say, oh, well, I just get distracted. Oh, well, I must have ADHD. No, it's just because you've got a low attention span.
Right.
Like,
I was watching this film, I just couldn't finish it. Yeah, because the film was crap.
yeah, the film is great.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah,
the film was
it's just a
spoiler.
shit
You
film.
didn't want- that's right. Yeah, you had, you haven't got that as an issue.
Yeah.
I do think people are just jumping on it for the wrong reasons, and it takes a lot of light away from people that really do need help.
And I think as well, like you said before, like, social media has its positives and huge negatives.
Massively.
And like, there are people that will put all their life on social media. A lot of the time, it's because they're alone. They want to tell someone, but they've got no one. And yeah, okay, people do cry on social media. People do tell you about their feelings, and then they go, and you get the people that go, oh, well, they're just attention seeking. No, it's because
Some are putting it out there because they haven't got anyone else. Some are attention seeking,
yeah.
but some are genuinely, look, this is me.
like we said before, like, I put stuff on social media on the campaign to help people. There was a guy, and he made a plan. I'm going to end my life,
Right.
and he went to Blackpool, and he was going to jump off the pier and end his life, jump in the sea. Now, he says the story, between him getting to Blackpool and jumping off, he stood on the pier. He was halfway along the pier, and he stood there hoping someone would stop him. And the amount of people who said, we're just attention seeking, you weren't actually trying to do it, you're just there to get attention. No, it's that part is him hoping there's someone there to
care enough
to stop him. And yeah, okay, if he'd have gone and told his mum or his dad or whatever, they might have stopped him. But he was hoping there was someone go, are you okay? Like, and I hope if I saw someone
that you would
I would do that. And a lot of people, 99% of the people on the comments on that video went, oh, well, if I'm going to be more conscious now. I'm going to, if I see someone struggling, especially in a position like on a bridge or in a pier, you hope that...
Yeah, but you say that, but what about the video that went around literally just a few months ago? There was a guy on the Bradford Bridge.
Crossing,
and then
right?
literally, we see the video going around viral. Everyone's driving past in their cars, videoing on their phone.
Right, that's
no one got out there.
That I don't get. I
No
don't
one
get
got
all
out of
this
the car.
people
Sensational.
with
Yeah, but understand, if you saw that guy and you see he's parked his car, he's grabbed his car, he's standing up on the bridge, why would you think your first thought is, oh, let's get my phone out and make a video? This is going to go viral.
I wonder how many views I
Why
see.
don't you get out and help the guy?
Especially on a bridge that isn't a pedestrian bridge.
Right.
A pedestrian, and and the thing is, he's not in high vis. So he's not a workman, and his car, it's not hard shoulder on the back.
He's just parked. His door's still open in his car. He's just got out and he's
stood on a bridge, like, and
if you stop and video that, you're sick.
Yeah.
Like, you got something wrong with you because you're just twisted to try and get views.
Yeah.
But that's like people filming someone getting stabbed and stuff like that.
There's things that you care. Like, if you know they're safe. Like, for instance, I put another video on the campaign, and I know the mum,
right?
And it's a little baby girl. She must be about 2, 3, and she had, like, this woman's husband, this girl's dad, has committed suicide, and she's crying and saying, I want my daddy, where's daddy, is he coming home? Yeah, in one view you could look at it and go, that's quite sick, like, you're filming a baby, but the mum knows the kid's safe, she's loved, and she's there.
Yeah.
And it's filmed to show awareness of these are the after effects.
Yeah, massively.
And it's not trying to guilt people. It's not saying,
but it's showing this is where you leave. This is what
if you're
happens.
You're gonna break this kid's heart. No, it's not about that. It's just the fact that this is the whole
scenario.
picture. This isn't just the whole kind of a temporary fix.
Yeah.
Like they think it's a permanent fix for a temporary problem. And so are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay? This one.
Yeah and no, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm okay. As in, I'll do what's got to be done. It's still bothering me now, like especially with my mum now, because it was only sort of last Saturday. Yeah, I'm worried about that, but again, it's one of them. I know what's got to be done, so I have to do it, and that is pretty much it. I'm fairly lucky with as far as that sort of stuff goes. I'll start to think about it. I will get down, like I get really down about it. Yeah. But then I manage to pull myself out of it very quickly before I start to go to
decline too much.
Yeah, massively.
And how do you do that?
That I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Is it just a mental reflex?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's because of over time. I've got so used to doing it,
just getting on with it.
Yeah, to being that person. I won't let myself stay down for too long, because I have to be that person.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. I don't think I'll ever let myself slip too much. Now and again, especially this past week gone, I've started to feel like, you start to feel like, yeah, I haven't felt like this before, I don't like this. But I will have to pull myself out of it. And I think that's only down to being fairly, not mentally regulated, but I've managed to get it to a point now where I can sort of switch it off and go, right, I've got to be okay because I've got people to look after as well.
At this point, I've got to be okay.
Yeah. Do you know
when I've got my time, I can have a little cry and
yeah, big time. Yeah, and I have broke down, and it's not, it's not really me. I haven't got a problem men crying and stuff, because if you're upset, you're upset. Do you know what I mean?
It shouldn't be a problem anyway.
Never.
It should never be a problem.
People look at it. Upset. Oh, don't be a fanny, blah blah blah. No, if certain things upset you to that point, you have to. If you're going to cry about it. If you don't break down about things like that,
it helps you. You want to let it out
massively.
Otherwise, you just pent up, and then you're going to do something you regret. More often than not, you do something you regret. And it's usually anger.
Yeah, it will come out as aggression.
Yeah,
and that's not good.
But I think we've got a good vent in with going to the gym.
100%.
And I think being able to tell people, like, a lot of people don't believe me. I reckon 95% of the people in a gym are in there because they struggle mentally or have done at some point, and they use it to focus themselves. And
I know for a fact, if I don't train, like if something happens, most of the time I'll train 6 out of 7 days a week. I'll take
so how long have you been training for, real?
Started in probably 97, something like that. 97.
It was always bodybuilding, was it? It was always
yeah. Started at a small gym off Green Street called Flex. That's not there anymore. Then went to Wag Bennett's, which is quite famous. That was the place Arnie used to train at when he come over. Wag took me under his wing, taught me a lot, to be fair, at a young age. Then left there, went on to Full Galaxy in Ilford, which was an amazing gym. And again, a lot of guys in there, no nonsense, a lot of real bodybuilders and real blokes. Not like a lot of nothing against Instagram influencers and stuff like that, but if you're spending more time doing your hair than you are actually prepping what you're doing for the gym, to me, you're not about that. You know what I mean? From there, a couple of different gyms, like Full Galaxy. Again, I learned a hell of a lot there. Ended up doing a PT course in 2000, so I've been a level 3 PT since 2000, before there was even a reps register.
When anyone could do it.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, it was. The funny thing was, it's still the same course. It's near enough still the same modules and everything.
Like a 6-week course, isn't it?
Mine done. I think it was 3 months. I think I'd done mine 3 or 6 months. I can't remember now.
Yeah. See, when
24 years ago?
When I did it in 2012.
Yeah.
It was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like intensive course, and it's.
And the first thing I did as soon as I'd done that was like, right, okay, I've learned that. The majority of that I don't need to learn, to be honest with you. And when I coach people now, none of that is, I don't,
No.
It's very, textbook stuff's great in the textbook, not so much in the real world.
That's always a way, isn't it?
Training wise, that all went wrong. I forgot to mention earlier, in 2010. That's when, 2010 I would say was probably a big turning point for me mentally. I'd been to hospital. My other half took me to hospital a couple of times. I had really bad stomach pain and stuff like that. Got turned away. Oh, it's food poisoning. Oh, it's this, that and the other. It ended up, it was a burst appendix that they'd left me with for days.
Shit.
By the time I then got rushed back in, I remember being taken to the operating thing before they, they get the camp bags and all that. I started going into cardiac shock sort of thing. The poison had already travelled up and started going to my heart. Instead of a tiny little incision, which they usually give you, they went straight up the front of my abdominal wall, messed the operation up. I come round, was told, we're surprised you're still here. I was like, well, I had an operation. I'm obviously going to be in hospital, and they went, no, we actually did think you was going to die. And then you look at someone and you think, are you seriously saying that to me? Like, your bedside manner's amazing. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I've been told worse at the side of
it. So that was that. But I thought, okay, deal with it. I've got all these staples up the front of me. I look like a jacket, whatever, crack on. They'd messed the operation up to the point where they hadn't actually drained all the poison out of me. So when the nurse had come round to take the staples out, as soon as she took the staples out, I wasn't healed at all. My entire stomach opened, so I could see my internal stitches. Spent, I think it was around 8 months, living on my settee, with a nurse coming out daily, packing my stomach. I probably lost 6 stone, 7 stone, something like that. I didn't even recognise myself in the mirror. I could just about walk. Other half having to take to the toilet and stuff like that. That to me was like, nah. What, like, this is seriously embarrassing now. This ain't me. That ruined me big time in my head, because it was like, right, you're never going to train again. And because training was such a big part of me, it was almost like you're not you anymore.
Yeah, you got to do something else.
What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know anything. Yeah, that's me. It's such a big part of me, who I am as a person, an outlet. I'm so passionate about the whole gym thing, whether it's supplements, training, everything. To have that taken away from you because one person messed something up, that done my head in.
Yeah.
Badly. If it was something I'd done, like,
you can kind of take it on the chin.
Okay, that was stupid. I shouldn't have, bungee jumped or something.
But you've got your answers then, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Kind of, you've got the blame. You can go,
yeah, big time.
That's my cock up.
But for them just to go, that was that. And that went on for a long, long time.
So when did you get back into training then? Obviously, 2010, that was it.
2010, I didn't go back to the gym until, I wasn't supposed to go back to the gym at all. But I went back about a year or so later, just over a year later, trained like a little girl. It was terrible because I just couldn't lift anything anymore and stuff like that. But
did you even do cardio?
Yeah, I did. I did cardio. That to me, when you get someone take something away from you that is you, that is pretty much everything about
What's your identity in it?
Massively. Yeah, that ruined me. And that took a long, long time to gradually get back into it. And then even after training and sort of getting my head straight with it, and okay, I can gradually push back with this. Still having specialists say you shouldn't be training. You're not training, are you? You can do, you can do cardio. Blah blah blah. It was almost okay. So you're saying I can't do it? I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put all my size back on again, and see where it goes from there, sort of thing. But yeah, that was bad, and it's actually left me with 2 incisional hernias that I've had for years now and refuse to get them operated, even though I should.
Because you don't trust.
Absolutely.
Trauma, isn't it?
When I go, like my mum's in the hospital where they sort of butchered me, and even going in there visiting, I get wickedly twitchy. Yeah. Like, my other half was going, go outside for a little while if you want and all that, because I'm just sitting there and it's really weird, because I'm usually okay with stuff. I'm literally sitting there and I can feel myself getting really twitchy, so I don't want to be in there.
My leg, it's always my right leg, and I'm like rocking it like a drum.
Because you're hot in there anyway. Yeah. Getting hot, and I'm like, I need to go outside. I don't like it in here at all. And then you start to sort of not get angry, but you start in your head thinking, I wonder if that surgeon's in here. I wonder if I'll go back on my paperwork and dig out his name. I wonder if I can find him in here. And then you start having really stupid thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mate, you done such and such, you know what, mate? And and then that starts taking you down a really silly route. Yeah. Really stupid.
And that, but to an extent, you're more than entitled to, because you've still got a blame game going on in your head.
Yeah, of course.
And the thing is, like, it's robbed you of so much, health and everything, that you do. And I think as humans, we do what we don't. It's not just a blame game. We just want to blame someone.
Yeah.
It's also closure, because you can go, right, they are responsible. It's that justice, isn't it? You just go,
of course it is,
because you want to at least them to come to you and go, look, I did this, and I'm sorry.
100%.
But you will always have that in your head.
Yeah, and I don't think I'll ever get over that sort of thing. And I am petrified now to this day. That's one thing that does bother me in a big way. Getting ill. Not for getting ill, because I know I'd have to go to hospital. And like to a point where I've had certain aches and pains and niggles that I know aren't gym related, and I have swerved the hospital.
It's almost like giving you a phobia, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's bad.
To be fair, it's a form of PTSD.
Basically.
Because you're then avoiding something you know. Well, you don't know something bad's going to happen, because it's once like one in very 100,000s that an operation goes wrong, but you're obviously just not wanting to tempt fate.
Yeah, it is, and I'm petrified of going in the hospital. Even though, like, my mum's in there now, I'm double checking everything they're doing. Like, I'll keep track of. Because she was told she was type 2 diabetic as well. So I'm actually keeping track of all her blood sugar levels from her paper. I'm making sure everything's done, blood pressure, the lot. Yeah. So I shouldn't have to, but in my head, I know if I'm doing that, if I see something that I don't like the look of, where I've got a fairly good knowledge of stuff now, where I've coached for so long and, stuff like that, I can sort of clock it and make sure something's done.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better, almost. I can think, okay, I know there's nurses and that, and, majority of them do a good job. There's a lot of toilet ones that don't want to help people. People get the with that, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. But yeah, as long as I can make sure that she's okay and things are getting done, that to me is a positive
that helps
move.
you then mentally, doesn't it?
That puts me in a more positive frame of mind, big time.
Okay, Phil, so just quickly, basically, I just wanted to quickly ask, obviously the Red Rum Nutrition.
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to give us a code to put on. And
code to be done today,
so people to buy the supplements. What is the supplements? Is it proteins?
Yeah, we do pre-workouts, we do protein, we do joint care, liver care, creatine, glutamine. I would say fat burners, but I don't like class them as fat burners. I'd rather call them as cardio aids, because everyone thinks, take a fat burner and it's it's a magical pill. That and an apparel, and we've got pre-workouts that suit whether you're caffeine sensitive. We've got ones without caffeine, high caffeine. We've got the lot.
Excellent. So thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it, and it's been great.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.